All right, so this is going to be the introductory video of this family project we got going on. Started by me, not a huge fan of it, but we're going along with it, so I love you. This is intro video version 2. So I made one of these intros like 2 months ago. None of this, again, this is all, which is nothing's posted anywhere at this point or anything, but like 2 months ago I started this intro. I made it with just myself, and then video 2, Rose joined, and it was just a lot better. Like just some guy talking to a camera for 15, 20 minutes straight. It's kind of boring stuff.
I bring a lot of life.
Exactly. When the love of my life is added into the video, and we're going to add the kids into this and everything. So the timeline's a little weird because this is like 2 months after we started, and now we're making the intro.
Looks a little bigger.
Yeah. She's 8 months along here, and we have. I'm not going to give away how much, but this is a very legitimate attempt to get all the games. And like in video 2 I talked about 671. We're actually going for like 820 now. We're going for all the PAL versions, like the special versions. We're going for everything. I bought a game called Arctic Adventure, which wasn't even on the list of the games because it was like a Australian version. It was already graded, so I'm cheating, going ahead, but point is very legitimate. So and to start off, we're going to open up this box over here to get some excitement into this thing because I know what this box is. And this is a really good box. So while you're opening that, you gotta open it really carefully because there can't be very much package. This item is about as big as the box. So we'll let you take some time. And while you're opening that, I will kind of say what's going on. So we're trying to collect every single original Nintendo game in a graded version. Preferably sealed, but we're realistic about it. We know that certain games are gonna cost, I mean, Super Mario Bros. 3 today, I think it's sold for like $6,000 or $7,000. I'm not saying we're not going to get that eventually, but for now we're going to hold off on some of the multi-$1,000 ones, and we're going to just stick with the ones that are, that we can get for under $1,500. And we'll go in episode 2. We talk about some of the rules of what we're going to do to collect all these things. But all right, so why are we doing it? Because I think it would be cool as a family project. I think this is going to take years to do. And I just think it would be really awesome if we actually get pretty close. Again, we might cheat and get some CIB ones at the end, but let's say we get 500 sealed games that are all graded.
What does CIB mean?
CIB means complete in box.
Okay.
So it's not a sealed game anymore. But let's say we get 500 that are sealed, and then the rest, we're not just going to get a cartridge version, except for some of these like prototypes or really rare ones that didn't have boxes. We'll have just cartridge versions of those. But so anyway, it'll be really cool. This should take years to accomplish. Like it's not like we're gonna do this for 2 months and be like, boom, we got all 800 and some games. So it should take a few years. Kids are gonna grow, family's gonna grow. This could be like a couple hundred videos. Like by the time we're doing this, again, this is kind of technically video 1, but we're like 15-ish videos in by the time we're doing this. So it's kind of a weird timeline here. But I like the fact that we're redoing it with the whole fam and the wife here. So, what's my background as to why, again, this makes it a legitimate attempt, like we know what we're doing, is I ran a business called Discount Games that started in the early 2000s. We had a couple different usernames early on. I think our username started in 2001, but technically we started in like 1998 or something. But anyway, we were the biggest. We sold more NES Nintendo games in the world than I would claim anybody did at that time. Keep in mind, 2001, nobody was selling Nintendo games. Like you couldn't go to a local store and buy Nintendo games. They were too old for anybody to really care too much about, but they weren't old enough for them to be really classic at that time. They were just becoming that valuable classic game. We sold more than anybody out there. And what I mean, and kind of to prove that, I remember us looking one time and we had like 5,000 NES listings on eBay. And all the other sellers combined in the entire world on US eBay had only like 4,000 listings. So we had more games listed and items listed than all the rest. Now, how would we get 5,000 when there's only 800 some games? Because back then, you were able to list like 10 of any. Actually, I think originally you can list like unlimited. So the way it worked, you'd list an auction, and people always bid the auction ones at the end. So the game was you had to list like 2 ended a day. 1 ended every morning and every night. So you'd have like 14 games ending a week of like Mario 3, the games you had unlimited copies of. So you would have those ending all the time. So we had 5,000 plus NES Nintendo Classic listings. We had a 30,000 square foot warehouse. We had 50 employees. We were big. We sold millions of games across eBay, Amazon, locally, and any method we can. Craigslist back then. I mean, anything we could. Millions of games we were shipping out. At one point, we ran 24 hours a day. We had 3 shifts because we only had like 14 computers, so we had to kind of use the computers at 8-hour shifts. Anyway, so we were the biggest there was. We had every game that has ever come across. Stadium events, we had it. Prototypes, we had it. The Nintendo test system, we had it. Like a yellow Zelda test cart, which I think sells for like $5,000 now. Probably had 6 of them come across the shop over the time I was doing that. All kinds of cool stuff. Okay, so sold a ton of stuff. That's my background. Again, I know what I'm doing. Nintendo, I'm not just some kind of, I had a couple games when I was a kid and I'm trying to make this thing happen now. I really do know I did this for my living for many years. Sold the business 11 years ago though. So we haven't bought any games for 11 years for Nintendo. But then we started off buying, let's get to this and then we'll talk about kind of what really got us into it, okay? So the first unboxing of the series, proving again that we are legitimate. Okay, certification of authenticity of a VGA graded Nintendo system. Oh, did you get that thing out of there?
Let's just take out some of this.
This is really, we should frame this alone. Exactly tells you 1988 Nintendo system. Talks about all the stuff that it has.
It's like a TV.
Beautiful.
Before, so.
All right. So again, if I open a game that's worth $20, you're like, well, sure, man, you don't know what you're doing because some of these games cost $5,000. You ain't gonna collect the whole set, right? So I thought, man, what perfect timing to do the intro video when this thing arrives. Because anybody that knows how much these things are worth, the Super Mario Bros. 3, go take a hike, right? I'll trade that for a bunch of copies of that game. Oh yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and slice that. Go ahead and slice it. Don't cut me. There we go. All right. Well, I should have had you open it a little further along before I started.
I didn't know.
Oh yeah,
It's in a box. And everything.
Okay, yep. So this is it has a little chip on the corner. He mentioned that. He mentioned the corner was chipped and a little piece of plastic was knocked off of it. Okay, well actually the corner is, we got a big chip there. But hey, I could probably get it actually rescored. So, what do we have here? Yeah, that's a pretty big chip, but I'll take it I got a good deal. A graded, damaged case, which I will try to see if I can get it resent into VGA, which will cost a couple $100. Definitely worth it. But a graded VGA NES Nintendo action set. That is a beautiful piece right there. That is a beautiful piece. And again, it is damaged. The case that this came in, the VGA graded case, got damaged by the guy. He told me that before I bought it. I didn't see any pictures of it, so this is the first that I've seen the actual item. But this thing is worth thousands. Actually, the guy that has it right now, he also actually has a damaged case online. He's asking, the only one available on eBay, $40,000. $40,000. And I think one sold recently for $36,000. So that's a beautiful piece. Even if someone thinks it's only worth $5,000, whatever. The point is that is a multi-$1,000 piece. And I'll contact VGA this week and say, hey, what do I got to do to recase that? Like I know WADA recases them. I don't know. I'm not sure how VGA goes, but that's a beautiful piece right there.
How do you know it wasn't open?
Well, so it's a qualified system, which means it's not sealed. This system didn't come sealed, is what kind of my understanding is. So it's called qualified. I think they actually open it in there, but they basically, given it the 85 NM plus, means the thing is in very good condition. Again, what's that worth? Is that worth $2,000? Is that worth $5,000? Again, somebody has it for $40,000 with the case also cracked, coincidentally, also cracked case, because it's just so big. I'm assuming when you ship the thing around, it's going to get cracked or whatever. but he has like 40,000 right now. Obviously, you can list something for anything you want, any dollar amount you want. But that's worth thousands of dollars, period. If I saw one like that on eBay right now, I think I'd pay, if it was for 5,000, I'd snatch it up tomorrow. What's it actually worth? We'll see. But it's a good piece. And we're not going to sell it. We're going to we just need one of them. That's not actually a game. It's not even part of our thing, but we need one. We got one. We'll collect. And we have 4 more boxes from this guy of stuff that's not cracked, but is in very good shape. Okay, so what else we got? Okay, so we sold the business, and then I was trying to get into backing up. I added a guy on Facebook had the same name as me, and Greg Babick, and he ended up doing like a Kickstarter. He's the guy that created the Cheetah Man 2 Nintendo games. He actually sent me a couple copies of these. I've never met the guy in person, but he sent me a couple copies. I'm gonna let Tiger in here. He's gonna just, cat is clawing at the door here. But he sent me a couple copies of this game. I've kept them for years, and then he ended up messaging me on Facebook a link because he knew I had some Nintendo artwork. When I sold the business, I sold everything, and I sold some very expensive stuff. We had a time when we got like $40,000 cash from a dude on some leftover stuff that I didn't sell with the business because it was too valuable. And it was those test cartridges, it was prototypes, it was like those adult rated games, Bubble Bath Babes, the Panessian, or however you say it, games, and some sealed games, just some super ultra rare stuff. $40,000 sold to this guy. But I kept the original artwork that I had got from a company called Wisdom Tree, which I think bought Color Dreams as well. Okay, so we'll start off with that, with the premier piece. So we've got, again, besides the damaged crack case, we got a premier piece of graded stuff here already. And if you can hold that up. Now the premier piece of artwork that we have, I believe this is one of a kind. I mean, I know it's one of a kind, but I believe it's even more than one of a kind than you think. So this is the piece of artwork that is the box for the game, Exodus, Journey to the Promised Land. I think that's a sealed version in there, but that's kind of a beat up sealed version. I actually bought, coincidentally today, a couple hours ago, I bought a nice sealed version of that game as well. But this is, you can tell by that is the exact same picture that's on the cover of that box. And then there's all this extra stuff, which I think is super cool, because they decided to make this whole picture. They only used this corner, but they used all this extra picture is coming into this thing. So again, I don't think there's any. You can see the cut line. That's where the picture they just used for the box. That's all just extra. I mean, tell me another game that you can get the continuation of the cut. Like they made their own picture, and they just decided to continue it. Like not just make the cover art. All of them are just the cover art. So I believe this is a one of a kind. Not only is it the only one of the cover art of the game, but it's also probably the only Nintendo game that they have a picture that's 3 times, and that's huge, but it's 3 times as big as the actual piece used for the cover. And that's not shown anywhere. So I decided to buy these cover arts. The guy knew that I had these games, the artwork for the games. He ends up messaging me a link to a guy that was trying to buy the game Contra for $100,000. I'm sorry, the cover art for the game Contra for $100,000. In that artwork thing, he also talked about, there was also some articles about some other games. Some guy had traded a US version of Stadium Events, which is like a super rare game, like the one that back when I did the business made the news around the world about how somebody bought one for $25,000 or something crazy. Anyway, he traded, some guy, I don't know if it's the same guy with the Contra, but somebody traded that for, I think, the cover art for like Pesterminator or something. Kind of a weird game that wasn't even licensed, I don't think. But the fact is that if someone's willing to trade that game, the cover art is worth something. I knew it always was, so I wouldn't sell it. I never posted it anywhere. I didn't want to ever get rid of it because I thought, well, it could be worth $500, it could be worth $5,000, it could be worth $50,000. I don't know, so I'm just holding on to it. So then I decided I'm going to start buying the games to match the cover art because I had this stuff hanging in my basement, but no one knew what it was. So I started buying the games. I got excited about these WADA games. I learned about them, the sealed games. We'll talk about it more in other episodes. I know we do. Again, this is a late episode, but I know we do. But that's kind of how this all got started. I was just buying the games so I can explain to people, hey, this artwork I have is this game. And I was going to box it. I was going to frame it next to the artwork so it was really clear what it is. And then we got a little crazy. We got a little crazy. We got a little crazy.
I said yes to the original plan.
Yeah, and
and
now we have 3 giant safes sitting behind the camera that are going downstairs on Tuesday that are going to be housing all these games because these are worth a ton of money, and we have like cameras already in the house, and we have a security system on order here because now this thing's worth tens of thousands of dollars pretty quickly. All right, so we're going to bring the kids in to talk about where this thing is starting. That's kind of the point of this video. Why we're doing it, kind of a little background, and where we're starting. Like at the first version, we had, I think it was 14 games that were graded. So you can go get the first kiddo.
Okay.
And we'll get that part of the thing started.
How many kids do we have?
Well, we have 8 kids. Yeah, we have 8 kids. Number 9 on the way. So that's the starting point too. That's the other thing that'll be cool. If this takes years to complete this thing, you know, we're at 8 kids. Number 9 on the way. We have no idea. We know it's a boy. We have no idea the name that we're going to name this child. It's due in a month and a half or so. So once that child comes, then who knows? Obviously, we've already got number 9 on the way. We might might be number 12 or number 13 by the time this thing ends. So. And we'll talk later how we're going to afford this. Again, we know the cost of this thing. We know these games sometimes cost thousands of dollars. We also have a bunch of games that we are bidding on right now. And boom, here we go. Look at this. Now it's a Sunday. Sunday are the day for games to. Let's see if we can get this in the camera here. Boom. There's a Star Tropics 2. Okay, which is a 9.4 A sealed. This is again cheating to go ahead. Won that one. Won a Star Tropics 1, 9.2 A sealed. Won a Mag Max 8.5 A sealed. And we got like 15 more ending today. Okay, so we got tons. They're going to ending during this video, so this will be cool. We got 3 already. Since this video started, we've already won 3 WADA graded sealed games to add to the collection.
Okay, so.
And Joey played a couple. So this is Big Joe, our firstborn, oldest boy, Big Joseph. We had the 5 oldest play at least one of the 2 games they're going to introduce. So Joe, what do we got, bud?
Today we have Legacy of the Wizard. It's this game where you're like this little guy, you're walking around, you have like this magical axe, and you use your magic. But if you use your axe too many times, then your magic runs out, and then you don't have any magic, and then you have a fist only. Like
so you ran out.
Yes.
So you ran out of magic, and I warned him before. I said, don't just keep firing that axe because you're gonna run out of magic. And apparently you ran out because you realized what happens after you. While we were just saying this, what did we just win here, huh? Michael Andretti's World GP. Boom, another NES game. We got 4 today. We just won another game. I mean, we're cruising here. This is kind of cool timing. Papa's purposely wanted this 4 games since the video started.
So here is our second game, Solomon's Key.
Solomon's Key. Now we did not try this one out yet.
It looks like a guy who's just literally just walking around with a key, and magical blocks appear before his eyes.
It's some kind of puzzle game. It's a puzzle game. All right, cool. Well, Joey will join us in some future videos.
Joey, how old are you? 10, about to be 11 in May.
Yep, that's a month away. And 1 month. All right, we love you, Joe. All right, well, let's go get the next born, huh?
Let's all hope to come on.
So, Legacy of the Wizard, this game, it's a WADA graded 7.5 A seal. I played this game when I was a kid. I remember this game. I didn't own it, but I remember this, and I kind of liked it. So, it's one of those. This is also one where when I bought it, like if you check this, I've bid on a couple since. Not that I necessarily need a second, but I was like, well, it's a 7.5. I'd like to get a little higher graded one. But I bid on a few that were not mint, and like one of them went to like $700, and I bet it might have been an 8 or an 8.5. Like it wasn't a 9.2 by any means, so it wasn't that much better than this one. It sold for like $700. I didn't pay $700 for this. Now, I've been doing this for a couple months, so I mean prices have gone up dramatically even during the time I've been buying these games. But that's what that is. This one, the story of this one actually, this is the very first one. Also kind of started the addiction to WADA graded games. This is a CIB game. I didn't even know what CIB was. I mean, I knew what CIB was, but I didn't know that WADA had CIB games at the time. So it was the first game I bought. I think I bought it for $100, which is dirt cheap. And the games, the grade this thing was $85 for a CIB one anyway, and then shipping and whatever if they paid cleaning. So essentially I got it for just the grade. I didn't have to pay anything for the game, but an accident kind of started this all because I just kind of wanted to see what they were like. Paid, I think I said I paid $100, and boom! After I felt it, I was like, I want more. I want more of these. So,
Saw you coming a mile away.
so there's the first two. One sealed, one CIB. But we're gonna count them for now. They're still graded. That's kind of the deal. Okay, go ahead. What do you got there?
So I got Iron Tank and Nightshade. I tried out this one.
played that one,
It's a really good game.
What did you like for it?
I like that you could get them and shoot them.
You were a tank. Yeah. You were a tank and you were shooting all the tanks and all the little guys running around.
Yeah.
Kind of like, you haven't played the game, but Akari Warriors. Like Akari Warriors is a game where these two like ninja guys have guns and grenades, and then you get into a tank. It's like the tank all the time in Akari Warriors.
So who are you?
My name's Hope.
And how old are you?
I'm 9.
There we go. And we love you very much, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. All right, we'll go on to the next. Thank you. Thank you for joining our video. We appreciate
Is there
it.
anything else you want to say?
This collecting is super cool, and we love buying all these games.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Okay, Iron Tank. B sealed. Obviously the gradings are sealed, and then I believe the number is the overall. But it's a B seal rating. It's a sealed game. 7.5 rating otherwise. So not, again, 7.5 is not amazing, but it's not terrible. And then Nightshade at 2.5 is actually our lowest. Again, I'm skipping ahead so I know all the games we have. We've never bought a 2.5 before. I bought this very inexpensive. The goal was to knock it off the list. If we have 800 and some games that we gotta buy, we wanna knock any off we can. And since I got this one cheap, and it is actually sealed with a C+ seal rating, the game's got waves in it, it's really beat to heck. But the fact is, it's a game that this is rare. There's only one other copy on eBay at the time that we posted this video. They were making the video, and it's $500, and I paid I think I paid $135 for this one. Knock it off the list. All right, next one up. Big Mike. What do you got, man? Iron Sword.
Iron Sword.
Iron Sword.
And in Top Players Tennis,
Top Players Tennis.
Which one did you play?
I played this sword.
Oh,
Iron
Is
Sword.
that one cool?
Yeah, it's a good game, but it's a little hard.
It was a little hard. It was a little hard. I remember
But
playing.
it's a good game.
There we go. And you did not play Top Players Tennis. Okay, so and how old are you, Mike?
8.
8 years old, almost 9 years old, right?
Yes,
Next month?
and May 13th.
May 13th, there you go. Awesome.
This is our Michael.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks for joining us today. We love you, bud. So Iron Sword is Wizard Warriors 2, which, oh, by the way, we just won another game, code name Viper. I don't know how much, but yet another win. That's 5 games we have won during this video. That's it. That's a good. Now, last Sunday we got smoked. I got beat by some guy. Watch episode 12 or something. I'll talk about it, or 10 or whatever. But I got smoked by some guy. He beat me on like every auction. I only won 2 out of like 15 things I bid on. I've won, I don't know, 6 out of 10 that I bid on today. So I'm back in the game. I had Wizard Warriors 1 when I was a kid. This is Wizard Warriors 2. So yeah, cool game. Hey, so what we're gonna do, and then the last one, we'll have to pause it here because we're gonna run out of time on this episode here. But Top Players Tennis B+, 8.0. It was an early buy too. Obviously, it's one of the original ones that we had. Again, Wizard Warriors 2. I had Wizard Warriors 1 when I was a kid, which I only owned 10 to 15 Nintendo games, and I had Wizard Warriors 1. And I like that game. This is actually, I was surprised. I didn't think this was just as close, but it's like the same game remade as the second one. Because it's like the same character, same way you jump, the same way you jump with the sword, you can hit a guy in the air. Anyway, so All right, so we're gonna pause this video. We're gonna end it here, and we're gonna have a part 2 of the intro because we don't want to make this thing too long. That way we can kind of people can go to sleep after they watch the first episode. Okay, all right, here we go.